white colours of the adult yet. And you can see the feathers are starting to change colour. Now, wouldn't you be kind enough to turn around and face us, mister? Now, African hawk eagles are great hunters of other birds. Two of their favourites to eat are francolin and guinea fowl. And you can see, but like a lot of the birds we've seen this morning, a bit bedraggled, preening, trying to get some of that moisture out of their feathers. Beautiful. Almost looks like it's thinking about flying off. This is bird number 16. There's still lots of work to do, but we're in the right area to do it. Oh, I hear a robin. Oh! Oof. Fluff, 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 fluff. Oh, are you going to fly, mister? Now, if he does fly, you'll hear all the other birds have a panic. As I said, they're great hunters of birds. Oh, off he goes. Listen, listen. Wah, wah. All the grey go-away birds panicking. Okay, I can hear a robin calling just up ahead, and I'm hoping just around where those pigeons are. No, I think we'll get a bit closer to them. Let me just get around this bush. Oh, I'm in a bush. Okay. These green pigeons are actually gorgeous, gorgeous birds. The colours are incredible, and I can hear that white-throated robin calling. So let's have a look here. How's that, Dave? We're a bit too underneath. So here we go. Can you also hear a black-eyed bulbul? There we go. Hello, green pigeon. Now, if we have a look at their feet, it's very, very interesting. They got, oh, we can't really see. You just see his toes sticking out there. So they've got very interesting feet. They've got zygodactyl feet, which enables them to clamber around in fruit trees. And look at that. Isn't that just the most beautiful of all the doves and pigeon species? The African green pigeon. Such a clear eye. And they've got a slight hook on their bill for ripping open fruit. So that fruit is their main source of food. Now, I'm sure once these guys dry out and thaw out, they're going to be heading, there's a jackalberry tree that's not too far from here that's fruiting at the moment. Now, I'm just going to move forward a little bit to see if we can catch a few of the other species calling below them. Let's go and have a closer look. Earlier, while Jean was putting on the camera cover, one of the females was screaming really, really loudly. And for me, that was not a nice sound. It could be a young bull causing trouble with a little calf. So Jennifer, you wanted to see a baby elephant. I think we might have one for you. And I'm just going to stop, just
quickly, while Brent is looking, Brent, do you know what bird this is over here? I've got a little Senegal lapwing for Brent to add to his list. Typical ground bird. You can see that short little beak used for catching little insects and vertebrates. Well, Brent, you're going to have to come find this yourself, mates. We are looking at elephants right now, and I can see a few baby elephants, which I'm super excited about. I just want to be careful over here that I'm not going too close to eggs. You can see they're not really moving. So what we're going to do is just loop around. We have to be quite conservative when driving close to birds like this. Now, lapwings are very well known for displaying when you get too close to their eggs, and even elephants will be chased off by lapwings coming down and mobbing them. I've seen it quite a few times. It is quite a nice sized herd. I can see at least 10 to 15 of them. Now, herd sizes vary. You might see a mega herd containing over 100 to 150 elephants. That's normally quite a few smaller herds all grouped together. We're going to try and go down into this valley. Okay. Do you think we should go back? Marianne, I couldn't agree with your comment more. Marianne saying that any day with Ellie's is a better day than any, and I couldn't agree. This is very exciting, and we're going to head around to an old track that Jamie's just pointing out. Try and get a little bit closer. I'm trying not to drive over any of the elephant dung. It's a very, very good food source for things like dung beetles and other insects, termites. So if you drive over it, of course you're going to end that life of a certain little creature that we don't want to do. Essentially, we are conservationists, and we will always be. So Aubrey wants to know why elephants push down trees over roads and leave certain branches uneaten. Now, Aubrey, it's a very good question. Elephants sometimes go for certain trees. They'll push over trees like these terminalia on our right to get to the root system, not necessarily the leaves, because the leaves are quite high in tannins. So it kind of makes it difficult for them to eat the leaves, and the roots might taste a little bit different. So, you know, they might seem destructive, and a lot of people say they are, but the truth is, without elephants, we actually wouldn't have such a nice balance between bush and animals, because the elephants open a lot of pathways for other creatures. So as we're going down here, this is an old hyena track. Let's see what we can find. Aubrey, it doesn't seem like any ellies have pushed over trees here on our road, thank goodness. But you can see all the way around us how they've pushed over some trees. And just a quick one, and just to show you how this actually works. So you'll see this little bush willow on our right here, how it's been pushed over. But look how many trees are growing from this pushed over bush willow. So the roots are still intact, and from one tree being pushed over, you've got now more than 10 other trees growing from it. So the question is, are elephants actually that destructive? I'd say no. I say they all serve a purpose. So I do have people on the back with me, so I just need to concentrate and make sure we're all safe, as well as the animals being comfortable with our presence. So just watch out for the branches here, guys. Are we all good there? Here we go. A marvelous herd. There we have it. I don't want to drive over any of this baboon's tail. It's a very slow growing plant, but have a look on our left hand side here. It's not a very small baby, but Jennifer, that is the baby you were looking for. Elephants are pretty much all the way 180 degrees in front of us. It's nice just to sit and listen and appreciate these massive creatures in our presence. Now you'll see this young little calf here. It's probably about 4 or 5 years old. Must be starting to get weaned off from its mom's milk, which would be around 4 or 5 years old. And in that 4th year, she should fall pregnant again, which she's got a gestation of over 22, well, around 22 months, depending on which area of Africa you look at. At the moment, we can just see bums. Look at these two. Looks like 2 young bulls sniffing out each other. They might put on a little show for us. You can see the one on the left, his ears are flared out. But it's more playful fighting than anything serious. The young bulls, it always actually reminds me of an Italian family. Anybody in Italy, you'll watch and know what I'm talking about. But they always bully around each other and play with each other in quite a sort of aggressive way. But as soon as something comes in that disturbs the whole herd, they stick together. And that's quite unique about elephants. They have no time for any predator interaction. They stick together and they'll chase whatever's sort of prowling them quite fast away. That's a younger one. He's probably on 3 or 4 years old. This one, you can see his tusks are coming through. Now, Brent and Steph were talking about tusk development. And some elephants don't develop tusks at all. Some develop them when they're really young. Some start only late. It all depends on their gene pool that they're in. So the genes depict how big an elephant's tusks are. You cannot tell an elephant's age by the size of the tusks. We've got this beautiful light coming through now. So Aubrey, earlier you were asking about elephants pushing over trees. Now, you'll notice that they eat a little bit, then they move on. That's also an adaptation that they've developed, but also what the plant does, the more it eats, the more tannins are released, and the more bitter the leaf becomes. So elephants will eat to a certain point where it doesn't taste so great anymore and then move to the next plant. About 5 or 6 now, sort of immediate right, about 15 to 20 ahead of us. See, she's got quite nice tusks on her. Well, a very good morning to all the children at St. Benedict's this morning and Mrs. Barnett. It's a pleasure having you here on Safari Live. We've just found a herd of elephants. And for all the 8 and 9-year-olds, please send in your questions to #SafariLive or questions@WildEarth.tv. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And I want to know from you what you think of Ellie's and who in the class has elephant as their favorite animal. So we're going to be looking around here, and we're going to stick with them for a few minutes and see what they get up to. We're not in any rush to move off from these elephant herds, and later on I've got some useful tips for all the little children at St. Benedict's on how to survive in the African bush. So in the meantime, let's enjoy these elephants and have some fun. So the herd that we've come across is a nice breeding herd of elephants. I'm sure you've all seen them on TV, or I'm sure some of you have been lucky enough to go into the Kruger National Park, which we are part of, and witness these fantastic large mammals. Now I want to know from you, how much does an elephant weigh? A big elephant bull, what do you think its actual weight is? Right, while we're looking at these amazing creatures, I'm going to hand you over to Brent, who is looking for birds this morning. He should be on about 20 by now, I hope so. He's looking for 50 bird species, which is a very ambitious thing for this morning since we've had a bit of rain and the birds are out and about. So good luck, and Brent, what do you have to say?
Well, welcome to Miss Burnett's class in St. Benedict's grade 3s. And there we have a female brown-hooded, kingfisher, and off she goes. So we're looking for birds this morning, and I think we're not on 20 yet. It's a bit embarrassing, but hopefully we'll get there. But a big welcome to you guys, and hopefully we don't only see birds. I know you've seen some elephants already with Ryan, and maybe we'll find a big cat or two. So we're going to keep checking around Djuma. We're in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve in South Africa, as you know, and we are sort of right next to the Kruger National Park, for those of you who know Kruger, but there's no fence between the Kruger and us, and the animals are able to come between the two. And it is a misty morning. We had a little bit of rain last night, so as Ryan said, the birds are loving life today, and I hope you guys are as well. This is a nice way to, I wish I got to do this when I was at school rather than actually having classes. But we're going to take you on an adventure around the game reserve, and please guys, ask me questions if you want to know anything. You can ask me or Ryan, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Now, St. Benedict's, where you guys are at school, my cousins actually went to school there, so I do know your school. And also, one of my first teachers I ever had was from St. Benedict. So I had a very interesting junior school life, and I lived in the bush, and we had a teacher who lived with us, and she was from St. Benedict's before she came to teach my brother and I. We used to have a classroom in the bottom of the garden in the middle of the bush. So we used to start school at 5 o'clock in the morning and finish by 9:30. Good morning, Matt. Matt is wondering what my favorite. Matt, that's a really difficult question. I've got lots of favorites, but I would say one of my favorites in this area would have to be the African hawk eagle. So it's a beautiful big black and white eagle, and I'll show you a picture quickly. So that's not it there. There we go. Whoops. There we go. That's my favorite bird in this area, the African hawk eagle. Very, very beautiful bird. But we're going to see what else we can find on this beautiful winter's morning out in the bush. And while we do that, I know Ryan can't wait to show you those wonderful elephants.
So I'm super excited that you're back with us, and we are watching this 4-5-year-old elephant busy moving around and looking for some food to eat. You can see how he uses his foot to look and dig for things to eat. Now, elephants, they can consume quite a lot of food on a daily basis. So everybody, Luke from St. Benedict's wants to know, how much does a baby elephant weigh when it's born? Well, Luke, let me tell you that these creatures are very, very sort of heavy boned, and they can weigh over 100 kilograms when they are born. Now I want to know from you, what other creature, which is a very tall creature, weighs over 100 kgs when it's born? And all the people, how many muscles do you think are in that trunk? There are between 60,000 and 100,000 muscles in that trunk. That is a lot. I'm actually not sure what tree that is. Jamie, do you have any idea what tree that is with those berries? Do you know what it is? It's a young jackalberry, by the looks of its leaf structure. I could be mistaken though, but jackalberries do fruit this time of the year. Hence the name. Jackals will eat the fruits during the dry months when it's harder to catch any smaller little insects or rodents. I just want to give you an idea of how big this herd is, and Jean will just zoom out and just show the viewers and all the kids this morning how many elephants there actually are. So Matt wants to know why all the elephants are so close together and rubbing against each other. Well, Matt, they have this relationship just like you do with your folks, and they would love to build their relationship, so they're often rubbing against each other and showing each other love, basically, and that's how they build their relationship. They're a very, very close community, and elephants don't tolerate lots of trouble from any other animals. So a lot of people say that the lions are the kings of the jungle. To be honest, I think the elephants are. So Gareth, you want to know how well an elephant can hear. The hearing is pretty good, but not nearly as good as what their smelling is. And so their smelling is probably the strongest out of all their senses. I'd say they can probably hear about the same as what we do, which is pretty poor in the animal kingdom. So while we sit with these elephants and enjoy them, I'm going to hand you over to Brent. He's got a little surprise for you with some tiny little creatures.
Oh, welcome back, guys. Look at this. This is a dwarf mongoose. Oh, off they go. And they're busy foraging at the moment. So they're looking for all sorts of little creatures to eat. Bugs and even scorpions and spiders. Oh, that one looks like he got something there. Now watch how they dig into the ground, and they'll dig out all sorts of different little creatures. one of the coolest little animals out in the bush, and it's the smallest carnivore in Africa. So out of the mammal carnivores, like meat eaters, it is the smallest of them. And they live in family groups, sometimes up to about 30 in a group. And we're very lucky because they're very used to us in the vehicle, so we're able to watch them feed and dig and scurry about. Look at them all jumping around, digging up. I want to see if this one, oh, he's digging a big hole there. Maybe he's found something. Nope, nothing in that hole. Now, being so small, they get eaten by lots of different things and by big birds, like that hawk eagle in the picture I showed you. So while the others are looking for food and running around like that one, there's always one somewhere who's keeping a watch. And so he's keeping an eye on the sky and making sure that nothing's going to catch one of his family members. Hi, Tate. Tate would like to know, what is the most intelligent animal in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve? Now that is a very good question, Tate. I would say it would probably have to be baboons or hyenas. I'd say are the two most intelligent. Now, hyenas are very clever, so I've heard a woodpecker, but it looks like it's flown away. In the bush, an art wolf, part of the hyena family, but he doesn't eat meat, he eats termites. That's the last one I've heard seen in the Sabi Sands was in 1970, so not very common. I have seen them elsewhere, but in the Sabi Sands an art wolf is probably the rarest of the mammals. But now I'm going to keep seeing if I can find a big cat for you guys. While we do that, let's go back to Ryan and the Eddies.
Right, welcome back everyone. We are with these thick-skinned animals, also known as pachyderms. So in your next test, I hope you get that right. Now these elephants are slowly moving in a northeasterly direction away from us, and unfortunately, because we're quite conservative and we try not to drive off-road too much, we're going to leave them in the next few minutes, and then I'm going to show you something very exciting about how to survive out here in the African bush. Now these would be some creatures that you'd come across. Tanyani, good morning to you. Well, you want to know how much a female elephant can weigh, and that all depends on where they are situated. Now a big elephant bull can weigh about 5 tons, so that's about 5,000 kilograms. Where females are a little bit smaller, anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 kgs. But as we get closer to the equator, they get smaller. The reason being is because there's a lot more food closer to the equator, so they don't need as much fat reserves. They are huge creatures, aren't they? Now, Deacon wants to know how old an elephant can get. They can live up to around 65 years of age, so very similar to that of a human. It's quite old, isn't it? I would say. Now we're going to have one last look at these elephants, and then I want to show you some cool tricks to survive in the bush. And to all our other viewers joining us, welcome to Safari Live. We have got St. Benedict's from Johannesburg in South Africa watching during school hours. So to educate the little guys between 8 years and 9 years old, we are very excited. Let's see how Brent is doing with those birds. I hope he's past 20, and I'm sure he's going to get that ground hornbill for me. If he doesn't, I'm sure he's going to make me a nice cup of tea or hot chocolate when we get back to camp. Brent, how's things going there?
So I would really love to find the ground hornbill. We are in a good area for them, but we also moved into an area that a female leopard lives in, and her name is Shadow. So we actually get to know all the different animals out here really, really well, because we're out every single day looking for them. So at the moment we're looking for a female called Shadow, and she's got a little baby at the moment who's about 4 or 5 months old. So hopefully we have some leopard luck. Good morning, Nahum. Nahum would like to know, can a honey badger defend itself against a lion? It most certainly can. A lion can kill a honey badger, but they generally prefer not to fight with them. They're incredibly tough little animals. Now, they've got multiple defense mechanisms. So they've got a very loose skin, so it's very difficult for an animal to actually bite through to their muscles or their bones, because they can almost turn around in their skin. And another quite disgusting defense mechanism is they can spray a very foul-smelling secretion from their anal gland, and they're like a skunk. So a lot of the sort of smaller little carnivores like that, so polecats, honey badgers, civet, are all able to spray a foul-smelling concoction onto anything that tries to hurt them. So they can most definitely. I've actually seen a honey badger chase a lion before. Hi Luke. Luke wants to know, how much meat can a lion, or does a lion need to eat in a week? Well, Luke, they are able to eat up to sort of about 12 kilograms to 15 kilograms, a big male, in a single sitting. But on average, over a month, let's say, well, per day, because they don't eat every day, they only eat when they catch something, but on average it's probably about 7 kilograms a day, so 7 times 7 is 49. So about 50 kgs of meat a week. That's not to be full, that's just to survive. Come on, Shadow, where are you hiding? Hi, Zachary. Zachary would like to know, do I live in the bush all the time, or do I have a normal home? Well, Zachary, I live in the bush here at work all the time, and then my home is in a different bush. So we do have a home, but it is still in the bush. I really love living in the bush. I struggle in Joburg. Too many cars, too many people. You can see how busy my traffic is on a Tuesday morning. It's the way I like it. My traffic jams are elephants and lions and buffaloes. But speaking of tusked animals, Ryan's got another animal who's got nice tusks to show you.
After seeing some of the biggest, or the biggest animal on land, we have come to another grey animal with some extremely big tusks. I haven't seen a warthog with tusks like this in ages. Look at how they're curling around, and look at that shaggy hair on the back. This is a very, very big sow, and we are very excited to see what they're going to get up to. You can see they're busy grazing, and these pigs will eat the whole day. Now you'll see this one in particular is on her sort of knees, and this just allows her to not be so stressed around the neck muscle area, so she'll almost do a leopard crawl and eat. It's just basically being lazy, I suppose. Now, have any of you actually wondered why they are called warthogs? Now, if you have a look at that one on its face, well, let's just see what happens here. There we go. Can you see just below the eye there? There's this almost protruding type thing below its eye, and on the front of its nose. It looks like big growths, and people have nicknamed those warts. In fact, it's just cartilage. So Ms. Bennett, I hope you can tell your students what cartilage is, because I'm just not quite sure at this stage how to explain it all that well. But this protrusion helps the males protect their eyes when they're fighting, so those big tusks don't get into any contact with the eye. And it's a beautiful morning here again. It's quite overcast. Nice and overcast today. And these pigs will be enjoying this sort of temperature. It's about 61 degrees Fahrenheit, about 18 degrees Celsius, which is not too bad. It's a beautiful morning. Have a look at that one that's on her knees at the moment. Can you see how she's got that white beard protruding from the side of her face? Now that is supposed to mimic tusks. So just like we saw that big one with the big tusks, so when a predator sees this, it looks or thinks twice before going for it, because it thinks, oh, look at the size of those weapons, I better be careful. And there you can see that beard on the side looks exactly like the tusks next to it. Oh, yeah, you gotta go. Bush toilet. We've all got to do it. They've just got the pleasure of doing it while they're walking. So Brent has some birds doing a territorial display, and he really wants to show you how exciting this is. Brent, let's see what you've got there.
Well, we've got some really cool birds here. They're called green woodhoopers, and they're busy having their morning meeting. Now, I'm hoping they're going to show you what I mean. Oh, where they go? Are they going to do it again? They're very, very noisy when they in the early morning like this when they get going. And they make a lot of sort of, that's sort of what they sound like. But of course, Murphy's Law, they've gone quiet now, but they've got really cool beaks, and they're sort of like a sword, like a hooked sword. Oop, pop down. Oh, there we go, that one's feeding now. And you can see that beak there. And that's to go into deep holes in the bark to find different little hohos. And it can also fit under the bark, and they can bring out larvae of different beetles. And of course they are not making lots of noise now. So hopefully they call again. Oh. Okay, well, doesn't look like they want to do their show for us anymore. So we're going to keep looking for leopards and birds. So we're in the dry season, and that means there's not a lot of water around. So I'm going to head towards a water hole, and maybe we'll have some luck around there. So while we do that, let's go see what Ryan's up to.
So he's still with these little creatures, pig-type family, the warthogs. There's another very rare type of pig that we get here, the bush pig. Alonzo wants to know, are they related to pigs? In fact, they are. They're part of the Suidae family, which are pig family. You can see he's also going about doing his morning business. You have to go, you have to go. So Zachary wants to know how fast a warthog can run. Well, Zachary, that all depends on what's chasing it, I suppose. The faster you're getting chased, the faster you're going to run. I'm not exactly sure in kilometers an hour how fast they can run. I'd say easily 50, 60 kilometers if they're really trying to get away from something. But they also maneuver, so they do this. And they'll always go down a warthog hole if there's one close by. Warthogs burrow under the ground, and that's a safe area for them, where lions and leopards struggle to go into. It's quite a fast creature. Nobody in their right mind will chase a warthog. They're also very, very dangerous. if you have a look on the side of their face, they've got these beautiful tusks, and we saw that beautiful male earlier, and Deacon wants to know what they actually use these tusks for. That male just behind that fallen over tree, there you go. Deacon, they're used for a number of things, for digging out roots, bulbs, and also for digging their burrows. So they'll actually use it to scrape the side of the sand where they burrow down. And if we come across a warthog hole, I'll try and see if we can actually point out those tusk marks. But also, they use them for self-defense. So if they're being chased by something, and I've seen it on a few occasions where a cheetah is chasing a warthog, and this cheetah in fact chased this warthog under our vehicle, and this warthog came running out and tried to grab the cheetah or hit the cheetah with it, and the cheetah just said, "No, I give up, thank you very much, you're too strong for me," and moved off. So very, very good tools for self-defense. Now when we talk about animals in the wild and intelligence, it's somewhat a controversial topic, because how do we know how clever animals are? And Gareth wants to know how clever warthogs are. I'm sure they have very, very good instincts where they know exactly what to do and when to do it. Now, to say whether they're clever or not, it's not for me to say, unfortunately. But seeing that they're all adults, I think they're pretty clever in their own right. Let's just drive around. Tyler wants to know how much a warthog weighs. A big male that we're looking at right now can be 40 to 50 kgs. The female is a little bit smaller, 20 to 30 kgs. So Joel wants to know how you can tell the difference between a male and a female. Have a look at this one here. Now if you look at the side of his eyes there, Joel, he's got those warts that I was telling you about. So he's got 2 sets of warts, where the female's only got 1 set of warts. And also, of course, the obvious behind the animal. And also just look at the size of their tusks and the actual size of him compared to the females. He's so much bigger. Oh, he's a beautiful boy. I haven't seen a warthog like this in ages. That is very, very mature. So I don't know if any of the boys like any of the girls there, but you'll see that he's trying to impress them and say, "Hey, how are you doing? I'm sure you'll buy a chocolate for lunch later," and see how it goes. The smelling of a warthog is very good. They also have quite good eyesight. But look how short they are. So when you see a warthog running away into the thick bush, you'll see the long tail at the back there standing up like a radio remote controlled car. Now this is to help them follow each other. Can you imagine trying to run through the bush at only a foot in height? You'd really struggle to see above the grass. And their tail swishing from side to side, trying to get rid of any flies that might be bothering them. So, Matt wants to know, good morning Matt, I hope you're behaving in class this morning. How long do warthogs live for? Well Matt, I would say a good female or a good male may live between 10 and 15 years old. So it all depends on what the environment is like. They're just crossing over the front of us there, and they're quite happy eating away at this grass. Well, Alonso wants to know also, how long can a warthog's tusks grow? Well, Alonso, how long is a piece of string? So that all depends on the genes that it has. A warthog with very good genes might have longer tusks. Someone with not so good genes, a little bit shorter. And some of them also break them. Once they've broken it, that's the end of the tusk. It doesn't grow back, so it's exactly like your teeth. So you have to make sure that you look after your teeth every day. Make sure they're brushed morning and evening, please. That's very important. And I'll make sure that the warthogs brush their teeth. Tate, this is a question of my morning, my friend. What noise does a warthog make? Now, I'm not even going to try and mimic it. It is similar to that of a pig, like it's, you see, that was quite shocking, wasn't it? So I want all of you in class to show your teacher what noise a warthog makes. So on 3, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. How did it go? Okay, I'll get back to you on that. Everybody, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you've had a fantastic morning with us. Brent is waiting for you with something exciting, I hope, and we'll see you tomorrow.
So we've come across a nice herd of elephants. And there we go. You can see that little one there using his trunk to pick the leaves off a little leadwood tree. Now, can you believe that there are over 100,000 muscles in an elephant's trunk? And it's like an elephant's hand, and they're very, very good at using it to pick up things. Let's just go forward a little bit. Hello. It's okay. Oh, you can hear them talking. So elephants can talk to each other. They use very low rumbles. Some of them we can't even hear. And if any of you guys have ever watched any movies like Jurassic Park, all the dinosaur noises are actually different elephant noises that are slowed down or sped up to create that sound effect for a dinosaur. Now, elephants, a female like the one we're watching here next to us, can eat up to 150 kilograms of food in a day. But it's been great having St. Benedict's Grade 3 with us on this live safari. And we're going to say goodbye to you now, but don't forget, you can join us anytime you want. Just ask your teacher. So you don't even have to be at school to come on a live game drive. So from myself and Dangerous Dave, my cameraman, it's been great having you, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So here we go, we're still with these ellies, a lovely little herd. And they are starting to move into some very thick area, right on the edge of the Marikeni little river system, very close to where the Nkuhumas caught a buffalo not so long ago. And as you can see, most of them in front of us there just disappearing into those thickets. And I think our bird mission this morning, we might come a little bit short, but we can always continue to try to get 50 species in a day. Probably a little bit more realistic. Here's a little one next to its mom. So I'm going to leave the ellies to continue on their morning feeding, and we're going to see what else we can find. Now, there have been no tracks of any leopard, and the only lion tracks went into Buffalo's Hook. So it's been a little bit quiet on the cat front this morning. Ooh, here comes a nice young bull. walk straight at us. Dave, do you want to do a VR with this guy? Here he comes. Oh, he's got a swagger on him. Hopefully he comes close to the car. That's a young boy. He's got a bit shy all of a sudden. Oh, here he comes. Oh dear, he doesn't look too healthy. It looks like he's got a growth on his stomach. I'll wait for him to come closer. Dave, I think push record.
Cam's down.
Cam's down, okay. Oh dear, look at that. We'll see now as he comes a bit closer, but I can't really see properly, but it does look like he might have a growth on his stomach, but he doesn't look unhealthy. He looks in quite good condition. And I'm actually completely wrong. It's just a really funny looking female. No, this is very confusing. It's a very big female, and she's got a very bull-shaped head, but I can see her mammary glands. So I apologize, I was completely incorrect there. It's not a bull, it's a very big cow. Quite an old cow by the looks of things as well. Hello, madam. But she still looks like she's got a growth. It'll make a bit more sense if it's a really old individual. Yeah, she's got a big growth on her tummy. She's going to walk next to her, so we'll see it as she... There it is. Sure, I've never seen a growth that size on an elephant before. And especially not in that... on her belly there. Just maybe try and move forward slightly. So anyway, you can see that growth. It doesn't look like it's hampering her too much. It also looks like maybe it's a hernia. She doesn't look uncomfortable. It doesn't look like it's, as I said, hurting her at all. But it definitely might become a problem, especially she's quite an old individual, and as she gets older. So there we go. Shame, poor girl. I'm going to leave her. She's going to go join the rest of that herd. Isn't that fascinating? That's not something you see every day. And we have been seeing lots and lots of elephants in the last while due to the drought. And we are seeing some quite interesting sort of individuals. I mean, we've got the elephant with the half ear. And then we've got a couple of those half-trunk elephants, and there's definitely the first elephant I've seen with it. It almost looks like a hernia, but it might not be a hernia. Oh, now the elephants are blocking my way. Where am I going to go? Let's go this way. And of course, a firm favourite with a lot of people who we've discovered recently is young Benjamin Button, the little Ellie bull who looks older before his time. Hi Marianne, and yes Marianne, as I was saying, it does look like a hernia, but it might not be. It might be a solid growth, but I think it could be a hernia, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a hernia in an elephant before. Might have. I've seen a lot of elephants over the years. I'm just trying to remember now. I've only ever seen a growth or similar to that, but a long time ago in Botswana. Very interesting. Hi, Justin. Justin's wondering what animals are related to elephants. Do any of them occur in Africa? Well, the closest relative to an elephant that lives in Africa is a dussie or a hyrax. It's a tiny little fluff ball that looks a bit like a rodent, and that's actually the closest living relative in Africa to the elephant. So do yourself a favor, have a look online, look up a rock hyrax, Hyrax, a hyrax, and they're tiny little things. They're about the size of a small dog, and those are the closest living relatives to elephants. Very, very fascinating. Now, the one thing that they have, main thing that they have in common with elephants is they do have a common ancestor, but over 1 million years ago. But both of them have their testes on the inside of their bodies, which is an uncommon occurrence in mammals. Oh, it seems to be getting colder. I took my jacket off. I think I'm going to have to put it back on. Okay, no sign of shadow on Arathusa. So I'm going to go check back up towards the gate and then maybe check around Impala Plains next. I haven't heard any updates about Tingana either. And I think it's time to go look for some more birds. So while we go see if we can find some feathered friends, let's go see what Ryan's up to.
If any of you have ever been to the bush, you'll find that in your first experience it's very difficult to try and identify certain trees. There are hundreds of different species around South Africa, or thousands in fact. The lowveld is unique with woody trees, just like this apple leaf. Now it gets its name apple leaf from the way it sounds when you crunch the leaf. It sounds like you're biting into an apple. The Latin name for this tree is Phalaenoptera violacea. Now I'm not trying to sound clever with giving you the Latin names, but all of these Latin names do in fact have meanings. Phalaenoptera is after the explorer, and violacea is after the violet colored flower that this tree produces at the end of summer. Now in Zambia, the locals there make rafts, or what we call a makoro, out of this tree. This tree is still a little bit small, but the bark is very, very tough, but also quite flexible. So that's one of the survival techniques. If you find yourself in a water area and you've got a lot of time on your hands, try to get your hands on one of these trees and you can make a beautiful makoro or raft to get where you need to go. And that's probably somewhere where civilization occurs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head a little bit down this road to Terminalia Alley, and Terminalia Alley is just the right place for me to show you how to make rope. So let's head down and see how you can make rope in the bush without actually bringing it with you. Well, Dee, all the way from Texas, has a great question for me. She has asked, how did I learn to become a ranger and why am I doing this? Well, Dee, to be honest, when I left school, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. And I was very fortunate to be brought up in a coastal town, and my father was a passionate bush goer. And he took us all the way into Shalui and into the Drakensberg when we grew up. And after school we sat down and said, what do you want to do with your life? And I said to him, well, I wouldn't mind going to go work on a game reserve. At that stage, 11 years ago, believe it or not, I didn't know you could take people around on safaris. I thought a game ranger was just somebody that just walked around in the bush and, I don't know, drove around and fixed fences. And we found this course online, and they offered a year course. So I went to this beautiful place close to the Botswana border, and I studied for a year. And in our studies, we talk about everything. There's 17 different modules that we cover, and you can imagine birds, trees, insects, astronomy, the list goes on and on, conservation, botany, taxonomy, you name it. So it's been a great adventure, and I'm still learning everything to this day. I've learned so much in the last few days that I've been with the Safari Live team. They are brilliant, and we'll never stop learning. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing what I do, because this is, what a pleasure. Get to go out here. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I think it might be a Tuesday, and people are out there working, and we out here doing what we love. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to find a terminalia or a silver cluster leaf that's quite a young one to make this rope with. How's that one there? No. Okay, we're kind of looking, there's quite a lot of bush willows around here. I'm trying to find a terminalia. Here we go. Okay, I want to take my earpiece out now, and for the next few minutes I'm going to show you how to make some rope. So you can't do this with any tree. You have to find a tree that's got quite a fibrous bark structure, so something that you can pull off and stays together, not something that just peels off and breaks. So I'm going to walk around the back here, and I'm going to find this terminalia over here. And we don't do this all the time. Just because we're doing a survival technique, I want to show you exactly how we do it. So I'm going to break it at the base here. And you can see how it pulls off so easily. Look at that. Ah, fantastic. Okay, so unless you really need to do this, I don't recommend you do this to all trees, especially now that we're trying to, of course, protect everything. But this one's small, and I'm sure elephants will do the same thing. Now the trouble is, there we go, is trying to pull it off. Is that alright for you there, Jandre? Okay, so you see, I've already got something quite strong. Now what we do is we pull this apart. Okay, I want to make quite a thick rope today, but you can make it thinner. You can make it as thin as you like, really. And in the old days, the Shangans, they used to make a cattle whip. You know those big ones that go, and that's how they used to herd the cattle. So what we're going to do now, let's just take a little piece here. You can actually see, I'm going to string through quite a few pieces. There you go, Jamie, you can have some fun there.
Thank you very much.
And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually turn my back towards you and show you how to make this rope. So we take the end and we twist it. So you have that little twist to it. I don't know why I'm so out of breath. Maybe I'm nervous because we're going to pull this at the end and see if it breaks or not. Okay, so we've got a little twist, it's quite untidy. I'm going to do this one as well. Now that doesn't really look like the DIY rope that I was telling you about earlier, does it? Okay, and we're going to put those two together. All you need is two pieces, and we're going to twist out and come over, and twist out and come over. And we're going to carry on doing this for a while until we've got a nice plaited piece of rope. Now I don't know if there's any sailors watching, but you'll notice that if you are on any ships, the mooring lines look very similar to this that they put the boats against the docks with. And one beautiful thing about this, I can hear a beautiful bird, a coqui franklin calling right now. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this whole thing. How does that look? Hey? It's flexible. You can add a bit of water to this every day. We had a guest that had one on their wrist. So a guide that I work with made this, and 5 years later the guest returned and said he had never taken it off and it still stayed on him. Jamie, how's yours looking?
Beautiful.
It does take quite a bit of practice, and your hands can get a little bit sore. There we go. I think that's enough just to show you or get an idea of how it looks.
Too close, go back.
You can see it's very, very tough and very flexible, just like rope you'd buy in the DIY store. So that is from the silver cluster leaf, and it's not really looking all that silver right now, but you'll find that in the summertime it's got this beautiful silver shimmer to it, and all the leaves cluster together, hence the name silver cluster leaf. Right, I'm going to jump back in the vehicle. We're going to carry on. I'm going to hand you over to Brent to find some more birds on this beautiful birding morning.
There we go. A starling. We've seen birchills. This is a Cape glossy feeding in some elephant dung. They are exquisite. I mean, even without golden sunlight, you can see the really striking colors of the glossy starlings. And you can hear them as well. Not the prettiest. What have you spotted? Oh, it's still the starling. That's a birchill starling, the other starling species. And you can see a black face and dark eye, which is very different from the Cape glossy. He's got that brilliantly orange eye. And I'm hoping there's quite a few different birds here. And the next bird actually happened to do a disappearing act. But we're going to keep going. There's some elephants in the distance. Still inside Buffel's Hook. I was trying to see if they were going to come towards us. It doesn't look like it. Hollows, you are probably quite correct. We've given ourselves a really difficult task and not much time to do. And we've got 32 bird species to find, and that one flew away, so it doesn't count. But I think we can definitely go to half. We can definitely get 25, maybe even 30. But then I think we're definitely going to have to try and get 50 birds in a drive soon. Let's have a look if we've got any bird species. There's one running! Get it, Dave! Quickly! He's moving, Dave!
I don't see him.
There's another one running!
Oh, there we go.
Here we go. And female Natella Franklin. Oh. There we go. That's one less bird to find. Oh! 2 less birds to find. Right next to me. The red-balled hornbill. We haven't seen one of those yet. Giving his beak a little bit of a clean. Oh, we're going to have to move off the road and cause a traffic jam. Oh. And there's quite a few really common birds we haven't managed to get this morning, so I'm hoping that we can get a few of those out of the way. Let's just try to get out of the way of the car here. Very nice. It's going off the road for us. Morning, morning. Good, thanks. I see a very cool bird, one we don't see too often. It's a big bird as well. Oh, it's behind a stick. Let me just try and reposition. Oh, I think it is what I think it is. Let's have a quick. Should it be good from? How's that? Perfect. Down next to Sydney's waterhole. It is a yellow-billed stork. Definitely not a bird we see too often. And there was a fish jumping in front of it. And that's, of course, what they like to eat. So with the lack of water we have around, we don't see them too often. Very, very cool. Turn your head. I want to see your yellow bill. Now, while we wait for him to turn his head, Dave, I'm just going to ask you to do a perusal around the edge of the waterhole. Maybe there's an Egyptian goose somewhere around. Let's... Oh dear. No geese today. Has he turned his head for us yet? No. Nope. You see the catfish rising. And no Egyptian geese, unfortunately. There we go, there we go. Oh. Doing some serious preening. They're actually very pretty birds. And you'll see why it's called the yellow-billed stork when it eventually turns his head slightly for us. Well, keeping a lookout for other birds. Well, there we go, come on. No. Not being... Oh, there we go, you can just see the yellow bill there now. Not the best view of the yellow bill. Oh, well, we'll leave the yellow-billed stork to its preening and see what other birds we can find. Now, I was hoping for some lapwings or anything out in the open here, but unfortunately, nada. Hi, Anita. Anita's wondering, do we get black eagles in our area? We don't, not in this part of the Sabi Sands. Black eagles like mountainous areas or rocky cliffs to nest in, and we don't have any of that close. So unfortunately we don't. So for those of you not sure what a black eagle is, there's another name that it's called by. It's called a Verreaux's eagle as well. Come on, Dave, are your birding eyes on? Okay, good. Now all our regulars. There are no lapwings here today. Oh dear. Playing hard to guess, it seems. I see there should be a bird in this area. Dave, you've chased them all away. Yes. Didn't shower this morning, he says. Starlings, starlings, starlings. We've seen the starlings. Linz and Drew in Johannesburg say, can I find them a button quail? I have not seen a button quail on Djuma. And, oh no, don't worry. We've seen them. The only place we might find them, and it's only when there's a lot of grass, might be down on Cheetah Plains. So there's always a possibility, but they prefer sort of grassy areas, and the best way to actually see them is to flush them. But there's always a possibility we might find one. I can feel the panic setting in. I can't find all the birds. X-Ranger says he'd be really impressed if we saw the big bird out here. Well, we could organise, we could get Aramark Babblers, we could dress Chandra up as Big Bird. That could be quite fun. Make him run across quarantine. Ooh, I hear some birds up ahead. Let's see if we can find them. Looks like we've got a little bird party up ahead on the corner. Sounds like they're a bit far away. We're going to keep searching for birds. While we do that, let's go see how Ryan is doing.
So I'm sure by the end of this program you're all going to be qualified poologists, and looking at this poo that you've got right now is something that we're not going to touch with the hands, but you can see it's pretty white in color. Now this is typically from a hyena, as it eats a lot of bones, and all the calcium and magnesium showing out through what you can see right there. Now there is a specific creature that will eat this hyena dung to act as a vitamin or a mineral. The tortoise will eat hyena dung almost on a daily basis to try and strengthen its shell if it can come across it. Now earlier on I showed you how to make some rope, so Jamie has actually made a little bangle for herself, and we're going to have a look.
Isn't it beautiful?
And
I think Jerry's going to give me 4 out of 10.
So she thinks she's going to get 4 out of 10 from Jerry.
It's not as good as the one Herbert made me the one day.
Jerry says you might get 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, Jerry.
But thank you for the 10 out of 10, everybody. And one last survival technique before we end this beautiful morning is something that's quite important, especially in the hot African sun. Now I'm going to ask Jamie to volunteer for me and jump down. And I don't think she's going to look like she did when she started this drive, so I'm just going to unplug my earpiece here. And I'm going to get a little bit of water, what I have left, and we're going to try to find a little bit of mud. Now in the bush, if you don't have any sunscreen, an important thing to do is protect your skin, especially on a hot day. Today is not too bad. It's nice and overcast. It's a little bit of rain, which we are thankful for. So we're going to take a little bit of water and we're going to mix it with this mud, and we're going to get a nice little bit of mud going. It is quite sandy soil, and Jamie, this is a good treatment. We actually charge no fee for this at all. It is completely on the house, and we're going to just smear that all over her like this, and as you can see, she's quite happy about this.
I was planning a trip to the spa. I don't have to now.
They charge thousands for this. This is free of charge.
Thank you.
And there we go.
That's
beautiful sunscreen used on a daily basis. Don't forget to exfoliate, everybody. I've had a great morning with all of you and fantastic time. So please join us this afternoon on Safari Live.
Oh dear, it flew away! They're seriously giving me a hard time. It didn't fly too far, I'm hoping. Oh, there it is. No, can we see it? That is a question. Oh no, we can't see it. Let's go forward again. No! It's a hornbill. Oh, you got something in the distance. It's starting. Good try though. I'm really hoping we... Oh, look at that coming in though. You can actually see the rain coming in the distance there. Oh dear. It actually looks a little quite heavy, that rain. So I think Dangerous and Dave and myself have been discussing. We are going for 50 birds this afternoon. I think we can do it. I think we were not far off today. But unfortunately they seem to be flying away. We're on 23, so nearly halfway there, and we've got 4 minutes to make it to 25, and at least that's half of our very, very ambitious goal. Come on, birds. So we're going to drive faster. This is a bit of a dead zone at the moment. I want to get through to another bird party. Hopefully we whack a few extra species, or 2. We need 2 to get to 25. Spot a bird, spot a bird, spot a bird, spot a bird. Oh, not a raindrop. That was a big one, landed on my forehead there. Okay, Dave and I, our heads are literally on swivels at the moment, trying to spot any form of feathered friend. Oh! Oh! Ah, it's raining! Hi, Think Lioness. She would like to know about nightjars. Do we get them in South Africa? We certainly do. We get quite a few different species here. We get freckled, fiery-necked, and Mozambique or square-tailed are the most common. But we're not going to see them very often during the day. We might see some on the sunset safari. So you're going to have to stay tuned this evening to see a nightjar. And this rain has just suddenly come out of, well, it hasn't come out of nowhere, but I think it's the rain that might have found Ryan earlier, because this is the first raindrop we've had all day. 24! Emerald spotted wood dove. Oh, Dave can't find it. I've lost sight of it now. Oh, but there's a bird party. I've got it. There we go, emerald spotted wood dove. Hello, little one. And there's a chin spot battis on the other side of the tree, so I'm just going to... Where's he gone? I saw him hopping about. Can hear him calling. Come on. There he is, there he is. You got him. There we go! 25! Chin spot battis. There we go. I don't know if you heard Dave's. Oh yeah! In the background there. Oh, off he goes. We made 25 with 1 minute 10 seconds to go. So I'm pretty sure we can get 50. It's going to be harder on the sunset safari. The mornings are always better for the birds, but I think it's a good challenge to have, and we're going to keep at it till we get 50. And once we get 50, then we're going to have to try for something even more than that. And that's going to be extremely difficult during the winter months. Of course, in the summer, when all the migratory birds are around, it makes life a little bit easier. And here comes the damp. So it's not raining very hard, but it's enough to sort of cool it down quite a bit. I don't think it's going to rain for very long, so I think we should have a good sunset safari. And please join us in a few short hours while Dave and I continue the bird challenge that we've set ourselves. And hopefully you'll join us for that bird challenge. But from a wet and rainy Djuma, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you in a little while.